You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey YNR fans, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and it seems like there's a miracle happening in Genoa City this week. You know, for years, Nick Newman and Adam Newman have competed against each other, insulted each other, and have been at various stages of war with each other, and things always get worse when women come in between them. But this week, there's an amazing thaw between the brothers. Before we dig in, though, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. So, if you recall, the first time Adam and Nick competed for a woman, I believe it was Sharon Newman. Of course, Sharon was Nick's high school sweetie, but they weren't together when she fell for Adam about 15 years ago, and they even got married. It didn't last because he had kidnapped Faith and gave her to Ashley Abbott. But I do think Adam made up for it long term by giving the kid a kidney. Still, though, this was a sore spot for a long time. Probably still is between Nick and Adam. And it's not like they were exactly best brother buddies even before them. And just as Adam pursued Nick's ex, Sharon, his brother pursued Adam's ex, Chelsea Lawson. To be fair, that wasn't until after Adam supposedly died when Chloe Mitchell blew him up in the cabin back in the Justin Hartley days. About 5 years ago, Nick began romancing Chelsea, but she wound up leaving town. They had written her out for a while. I believe Missy Egan had left. She came back later, married to this much older, wealthy guy, and then he died. That was Calvin Boudreaux. Then she took back up with Nick, but Adam's resurrection spelled the end of that romance. So it took a while, but Nick had to admit he couldn't compete with her affection for Adam, so he let her go. He lost her. He wasn't happy about it, but, you know, and that's similar to what just happened again. The third and most recent love triangle for the brothers was, of course, Sally Spectra. If you recall, Adam broke up with Sally to try and save her job at Newman Media. He still loved her. He didn't want to call it quits, but he did, trying to, benefit her. It was a terrible plot. Of course, Sally was hurt, and then Nick could not wait to swoop in and scoop her up, and then he was doing all he could to actively block Adam at every turn, even when he knew Adam still loved Sally and Sally still loved Adam. Nick put himself right in there anyway. Thankfully, that is all over now, but we know it's still bothering Nick. In fact, he just mentioned it to their dad, Victor Newman. Finally, though, Nick has realized that Sally wasn't meant for him, and to be fair, she did try to love him, but literally just couldn't make those feelings happen. And Nick was the one who did the dumping, but that's really because he saw the writing on the wall. That wound is, of course, still fresh, but Sally and Adam are on the road to a sizzling reunion. They're dating and sleeping together again. I'm confident they'll be living together before too much longer. Finally, though, it seems that Nick is getting over it, and it doesn't hurt that he's warming up to suddenly single Sharon Newman again. But the other good news is that there's finally a thaw between Adam and Nick. This week, we had a scene that was downright heartwarming when we saw the brothers together. So Adam has a rough day at work. Nick notices, and he initially calls out his little brother about bringing personal matters into work, and then they headed out to enjoy Miller time at the GCAC to have a beer together and to bro down. And Adam opened up to his big brother about what's going on with his nephew, Connor Newman. Adam tells Nick that he was angry about what was happening at school, and he wanted to blame the teachers and the administration. And he said Sally and Chelsea got him to calm down and see things in a new light. Nick acknowledges that Adam seems to be growing as a person, which is nice. That's amazing for Nick the Stick to say. And then Nick actually admitted he had dealt with many issues with his own kids, and he knows how stressful it can be and how much it makes you doubt yourself as a parent. Adam did talk about his poor reaction and how he blamed his own demons and his sense of shame about his past and just different things. And Adam acknowledged that he's brought a lot of his own problems on himself. Interestingly, this week, Adam also thanks Nick for trying to make things better with him. And Nick was being totally cool. He said he totally gets it. Talks about the pain of letting your children make their own mistakes, biting your tongue while they do it. And Nick said he's amazed that his kids all turned out all right. And then Adam does a solid, really nice, and he gave Nick props for doing a good job raising all of his kids. And then Adam even asked Nick for some parenting tips. I mean, wow. This is a watershed moment between them. Adam's never wanted to admit that there's something Nick knows that he doesn't, and Nick's not usually one to sit down and give his brother the time of day and really listen to him and his concerns. Nick does give Adam some solid advice as the brothers share a beer at the GCAC bar, and Nick even invites his little brother to come to him whenever he needs advice. I mean, nothing short of amazing progress for these brothers. They have never had each other's back, and they've never had a talk like this that I can recall. This week, to me, kind of changes everything for them. From here, my fervent hope is to see Adam having a similarly polite and groundbreaking conversation with his sister, Victoria Newman. I am real tired of Adam's siblings attacking him and trash talking him all the time when he is working to improve himself. And there is no reason at this age and stage of their lives for this to keep going. Victoria has been defensive when Adam expressed concern about Claire and Jordan, but he wasn't trash talking Victoria's daughter Claire. He was just concerned that her presence would attract the danger that Jordan Howard represents. And he's not wrong, because she's on the loose again. I am still hoping that Adam's going to be involved in Jordan's defeat this time so he can get some credit and get deeper into the good graces of the core Newmans, since he's just a accessory random Newman like Abby. But for this week, I'm just happy that Nick and Adam put their lady issues behind them and are finally behaving like brothers should. And who'll be even happier than me? Their father, Victor Newman. He's been wanting Adam to be integrated into the family in a meaningful way ever since he came to Genoa City. But to be fair, a big part of the problem was Adam's own jealousy and resentment, and Nick and Victoria's resentment and jealousy didn't help matters. But now that Adam's kind of getting his emotions under control and they had this great talk, maybe it'll be a smoother path to a happy family situation, not just for Adam and Nick, but for Adam and the rest of the Newmans. We'll see how it goes. Come back soon. Please click subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely check back every day. We are here talking Y&R all week long. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.